If right now you already fully believe that we live in an infinite multiverse where there are infinite timelines, all within slightly varying degrees of vibrational frequency, with infinite versions of you, and that you can easily choose your highest possible timeline and instantly shift yourself into it literally anytime you want to, and you've actually done it already, you don't need to listen to this episode. Welcome to Abundant Universe, your go-to podcast for becoming your most empowered, powerful, abundant, truest, and highest possible self through self-mastery, quantum healing, spiritual activation, soul expansion, and ascension. Here we talk about your self-concept, subconscious beliefs, science, spirituality, mindful manifestation, magic, mysticism, remembering and embodying who you really are, and all things esoteric. I'm your friendly neighborhood self-mastery and mindful manifestation mentor, energy alchemist, quantum healer, spiritual ascension activator, and host, Elle Brandlin. And today we're going to get super practical again and get into some real talk about manifesting and shifting realities instantly. So stick around until the end to learn exactly how you can shift into your highest possible timeline and optimal reality as quickly and easily as possible, especially if you've tried everything and you're still not living out your deepest desires and wildest dreams yet. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. And if you're on YouTube, please like the video to let the algorithm know it should show it to more people who are looking for this kind of content, and give yourself a gold star for the day for being super helpful like that. And without further ado, let's get into it. But before we dive in too deeply, I want to start with a bit of a disclaimer because I never want to teach false limiting beliefs. So if right now you already fully believe that we live in an infinite multiverse where there are infinite timelines, all within slightly varying degrees of vibrational frequency, with infinite versions of you, and that you can easily choose your highest possible timeline and instantly shift yourself into it literally anytime you want to, and you've actually done it already, you don't need to listen to this episode. But while I believe that's technically true, I don't know a whole lot of people who are at that level yet, myself included. And I'll just be completely transparent right now. If I totally believed I could do that, before I went to sleep last night, I would have set the intention and woken up a millionaire in my dream home by the water next to the man of my dreams. But honestly, if that would have really happened, I probably would have beaten the hell out of the poor guy, because I'd be like, who the fuck are you? What the fuck are you doing in my bed? And oh yeah, wait a minute, whose bed is this anyway? And where the fuck am I? And then I'd probably start running and screaming for help. Just being honest, because even though I desire all of those things, falling asleep in my current reality and waking up in that one would probably freak me the fuck out, especially considering I don't even know who the man of my dreams is right now, so waking up next to him would probably be a bit disorienting to say the least. Most of us require a bridge of incidents, as our old pal Neville Goddard would call it, to get from where we are right now to our optimal reality, or our human brains wouldn't be able to handle it. And that's why I can't get behind teachers who are like, you don't need to reprogram or heal anything, because all you have to do is shift into the version of you who already has the belief system that gets everything you want and is completely healed from all of your trauma. If you can actually make that shift without having to do any inner work, more power to you, because like I said, I'm not trying to teach false limiting beliefs. But unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that for most of us. So this episode is for you if you're still working on manifesting yourself into your highest possible timeline. And it's especially for you if you've tried everything and nothing has worked for you yet. Because as Bashar says, you have to honor your current belief system. And before you can shift yourself into everything you've ever wanted or something even better, you're going to have to believe it's possible, right? You wouldn't jump out of an airplane if you didn't believe the parachute was going to open, would you? The good news is that there are actual actionable steps you can take to change your beliefs and heal anything that needs to be healed for you to start shifting into higher timelines. And thanks to the laws of the universe, your reality has no choice but to transform along with you. And this works for everyone. You are no exception. You just have to be willing to do the work. So let me break it down for you. First, you have to believe that there are infinite timelines with infinite versions of you, and that some of those versions of you are currently living out your wildest dreams. Then you have to believe that time is an illusion and that we only experience it because we're constantly shifting through slightly different timelines. So if you don't believe that, you're going to want to bone up on some quantum physics and quantum mechanics to get your brain on board with all of that to begin with. But if you do believe all of that already, next you need to believe that you are an infinite, eternal, multi-dimensional being with limitless power to shift yourself into any reality you want to experience at will. Now, you may say, but I already do believe that. And I'm sure some part of you does, but if you're not experiencing everything you desire in your current reality, if you can't think of something you want and have it appear almost instantly, there's some part of you that still identifies more as your human self than your eternal whole self. And that's okay, because look around you. Do you see anyone who actually exemplifies that right now? Even people who appear to have it all from the outside want more, or they want something different. So they're not even living in their optimal realities, because every time you manifest more of what you want, you give birth to new desires. We are ever expanding as we evolve because the universe is constantly expanding. And the universe is always expanding because our souls are driving us toward expansion. As above, so below. As below, so above, right? That's the beautiful, miraculous thing about life. We are never done learning more about ourselves and our desires because Source is never done learning more about itself and its desires. Otherwise, everything would cease to exist because there'd be no more point to any of this. And that's a topic for another episode, because a paradox arises when we start down this rabbit hole, which is, if creation is already finished and infinite possibilities already exist in the quantum field, then how can Source continue learning and the universe keep expanding? But like I said, maybe I'll attempt to tackle that some other time. We've already got a broad enough topic to get our minds around today, and that's how do we create the beliefs that allow us to shift into different timelines where we can experience more of our desires in physical reality. Because I bet you agree with me that it's a hell of a lot more fun to actually tangibly experience the love of your life, overflowing abundance, perfect health, a beautiful home of your dreams, a healthy, happy family, amazing friends, and whatever else your heart desires, than it is to keep observing it in your imagination and living in the end until you actually shift, right? Because when the fuck is the end going to be here to enjoy in 3D reality already? Well, for one thing, when you stop asking when it's going to be here, and that's where your beliefs come in. But if you don't have a belief yet, that's okay. You just need to have a little faith while you're working on your belief system. So I did say we're going to get practical today. So let's talk about how you cultivate the beliefs you need to start shifting through timelines of higher and higher frequencies more quickly until you reach the one you believe is optimal at this point. Because let's be real for a minute. Once you get there, you'll have a new idea of what your optimal reality or highest timeline looks like, because as we've already established, that's just how we roll. And don't you want to experience all the amazing events that lead to your optimal timeline unfolding anyway? The journey is where all the fun is, and the journey is never ending. So that's the good news. But back to practical matters. In order to shift yourself into higher and higher timelines, you have to shift your beliefs to support that. And you do that by reprogramming your mind, rewiring the neural pathways in your brain, and healing the trauma that keeps you stuck in a reality you don't prefer out of fear. Repetition is your friend when it comes to reprogramming your mind and rewiring your brain, because it took a certain amount of repetition and then reinforcement based on your experiences, thanks to the feedback loop of reality, to create your current belief system. And it takes 10,000 repetitions to carve a new neural pathway in your brain. So you're going to want to repeat your new beliefs and stories until that happens. You'll also want to pinpoint the emotional charge or attachment you have to your old beliefs so you can clear and release them, because that makes it easier to wire in the new ones. And many of the old ones are rooted in safety, survival, and even trauma. So I know that may sound daunting, which is why more people aren't out there living their best lives right now. But I want you to be one of the few who can't stop, won't stop until you are. So there are some things you can do to massively accelerate this process. Some of those include meditation, journaling, literally repeating your new beliefs and stories over and over again, visualization or imaginal acts if you're like me and not great at visualizing, and other mindful manifestation methods, but used with the intention of reprogramming your mind to manifest a self-concept that actually empowers you. Listening to subliminals, quantum clearing and healing, and spiritual activations. It truly doesn't have to be painful or difficult to shift into your highest possible timeline, but it's a lot harder without the proper guidance and support. So if you're committed to yourself and living a life you genuinely enjoy, that lights you up and makes you feel lucky to be alive, hit up the show notes or description box below for all the ways you can work with me, and together we'll have you quantum leaping through timelines and living your dreams as quickly as possible, because you deserve to live in a reality of freedom, fulfillment, purpose, optimal health, the highest joy, harmony, peace, ease, flow, synchronicity, miracles, magic, and abundance in every aspect of your life, simply by being yourself, because that's what your soul came here to do. And I believe in you, so you should too. Much love.